Hey guys, I was just getting ready to have my 2:30 snack. I have a snack around 2:30 every day. Actually, I guess I kind of eat at the same time every day. I get up at about 5:30 every day. I take a shower. I eat around 6. I come into school. I have my lunch around 12:30 when we're done with our small groups, and then around 2 or 2:30 each day, I get hungry for a snack. Actually, I bet each of you do too. Makes a nice pattern. Like, you can kind of set your clock by it. Actually, speaking of clocks, the world actually goes through patterns too. Like the sun out here. It goes up every morning. It comes up in the east and it sets in the west. It goes a little bit, comes up a little bit later and sets a little bit earlier each day around this time. Actually, it's so specific that my Weather Channel app can actually tell me when sunrise and sunset are going to be each day before it happens. It's because the pattern happens the same way every year. Actually, a lot of things happen that way. And that brings me back to my orange. Well, not my orange. Of course, this week we're talking about phases. We're actually talking about phases of the moon. And phases are just a fancy word for a pattern. And when a pattern happens time after time after time, year after year after year, month after month after month, in this case with the moon, we have what's called a cycle. And today we're going to focus more on the cycles of the moon. So, not super differently than the sun coming up and down, our moon goes through a cycle, well, once a month. Actually, every 27 and 1/2 days. This is actually the cycles of the moon. What we're going to learn about today is why this cycle causes the moon to look differently as you watch it throughout a month. Part of that reason is because of two things. First of all, the moon is in fact orbiting the Earth. So the moon's here, the Earth, let's say the Earth is our expo marker here. This is where we're at on the Earth. If the moon is going, remember, the moon is moving around. And if you can watch here, as the orange goes around my expo marker, which is me on the Earth, the way that the light hits this orange actually changes as it comes around. The other cool thing about our moon is that actually everybody that ever lived, besides about 12 people, have only ever seen one side of the moon with their eyes. Well, that's because the same side of the moon is always facing us. And, only 12 people in the entire history of the human race have actually been around to that other side. That's because the moon is what we call tidally locked to the Earth. So, as the moon moves around, you probably can't see it here, but my expo marker is moving too. And that means that the moon and the rate at which the Earth spins around as well, we spin around at just the right rate that the moon is always facing us from the same side. We never actually see the back side of the moon. And what that does is, as we go around, because we on the Earth have a different vantage point, you can kind of watch as my orange goes around here, how the light hitting the orange changes. As it goes out here, right now, you can see that the orange is fully in the light of the sun. But if I'm here on the expo marker, all I can see is the back of the orange, which looks totally dark. That would be the new moon. As the moon comes around this way, from my vantage point here, I can start to see a little sliver. And as I go around a little further, now I can see almost half of the moon, about 3/4 of it. If I go this way, I'm getting closer and closer and closer. And now, from the back where I'm at here on this expo marker, I can see the entire lit side of the moon. And as it goes around this way, from my vantage point here on my marker, it seems like the moon is getting darker and darker and darker until I can only see its shadow side again. And that, in a nutshell, my fellow orange lovers, is why we have phases of the moon. And of course, patterns are why I'm ready to eat this orange right about now. So while I'm eating this orange, why don't you check out the reading and the videos below. Make sure you're paying attention to what you're reading, what you're watching, and make sure you're answering all of your questions completely. Also, when you've got questions, make sure you're checking in on office hours, because at the end of this week, we're going to be creating a working model that allows you to show how the sun, the moon, and the earth in relationship to each other cause the different phases of the moon. Good luck.